Bud Heyser is like who little Brandon wants to be. He's like this personification of this thing that's able to run its own business and do these stupid things. And like, I made up this character and then became him. My name is Bud Heyser, and I run 13 Knives. I came to like a crossroads where I was really evaluating what I wanted and what I needed out of life. And I think I realized it was I needed a community around me. I needed a way to express myself creatively. And then I needed some form of income. And I realized they didn't all have to come from the same place. And so I tried to work really hard to find these things in different avenues. And then I ended up on 25 Easy Street in a great community, making a little money and doing exactly what I want to do. I found it kind of neat because my father used to make knives as well. I'm not good with like phone calls and FaceTime, and I find all that very awkward. But my dad and I could sit there and talk for 4 hours on a weekend about machining processes and different heat treatments of metals. Blacksmithing isn't something that has a bunch of common resources that are current and great. When it came to figuring out everything I needed to know, all I had was this farmsmith's handbook from 1902 and my dad. I'd built like a little forge in my backyard in Brunswick, and just heating the file and shaping it and annealing it and then rehardening it to where it went through this whole process of becoming soft, being shaped by another file, and then being hardened, and then harder than the file that shaped it. There's just some weird romance that like ticked for me. I ordered my first round of steel. They were like company name. I was like, 13 knives? And then it came in, it was written on the steel. I thought it looked cool, and I just rolled with it. The main machine is this one, the belt grinder. This is the bread and butter, or the workhorse. It's probably hurt me the worst too. So I use that to kind of grind into here and stuff. My finger slipped, boom, and it went in here and out the backside through that gap. The first thing I needed to build a forge, get an anvil, build a stand. The way to test an anvil is you should be able to drop something from about 1 meter and it should recoil 75% of the way back up. This one does pretty well. And this is my old anvil. This is how hard I was working. I think I had to learn very early on that you can't be stubborn in small business. You can't say, I'm going to do this and I'm only going to do this, and that's just who I am. You have to be very open to like what the environment throws at you. Like when I started, I said I never wanted to make chef knives, and now I love them. I love making a useful tool for someone to use in their profession. I love the fact that every chef is very opinionated and different in how they use their knife, and very particular, so it's a very good back and forth as far as developing the ideal tool for a professional. Every custom knife starts with sitting down with the client and coming up with a concept, doing a bunch of basic measurements for their hand to make sure it'll be comfortable for them, talking about different materials, and trying to make a continuous theme throughout it. And from there, it's pretty free as far as where we go, but this one actually ended up quite a bit like the drawing. So this one is a custom chef knife that's part of a set. So there's a chef knife, a cleaver, and a paring knife. These marks are just left over from the forge. So whatever I'm doing with the hammer and to move the steel into shape, this is where I forge it to about dimension, and then I grind it, the rest of the bevels. You could spend a fair bit of time grinding that out. I just find it nice to leave it because I spent the time putting it in there. It kind of differentiates it to the eye of it being a handmade knife as opposed to something stamped out of steel. I try and use the best materials, and I try and make sure the craft is perfect, but also originality. Like, I try and do things that other people aren't doing. I don't quit working on anything until I look at it and go, man, I don't want to let this go, and then I have to. I think what's best to take away is the experience. When you come to me, you come and we sit down and we consult and look at the different knives you have, what the different merits are of each, even find different little ways to make them very personal to some people. I think the thing that I enjoy the most about 13 Knives, and the thing I hate as well, is the handing over the knife and seeing the look on the customer's face. Some people are just, oh, my very own knife. And that's when you know you've done it. I think when I first decided to do this, I was apprehensive to tell everyone that I was going to do it full time. Like, I'd done the numbers, I'd gone over and over and over it. I told a few people, and then I told my number one dream crusher, my mom, who has the most financial sense of anyone I've ever met. And she didn't think it was a bad idea. And that never happens. So when she said that, I was like, right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go. Everything was already lined up. I had a nice plan set out. I'd done all the math. And if she said it was feasible and I wasn't crazy, I was gonna do it. And I'm glad. I'm glad she had faith in me as well. I wouldn't change it for the world. I've met so many amazing people through doing this. I've learned so much about myself, about the community, about small business. The reality of being self-employed or working for your own self or just chasing a dream is you have to really believe it. You have to really dedicate yourself to it, because no one else is going to do it for you. If you don't give it 100%, it's never going to be everything it could be. And just be open. Just realize things are going to change, things are going to shift, and be able to adapt to that. And as long as you still have that internal passion, it's going to work. And you're going to get set back, but you just got to keep persevering, and it'll work. Hopefully. We'll see.
So I finally got around to showing Brandon his video yesterday. Brandon is a huge inspiration for me, not only with how far he's come in 13 Knives, but also his generosity and his work ethic in general. Brandon and I actually used to live together, and I distinctly remember the day that he came home and he said that he was going to make knives full time. So to see how far he's come from then to where he is now is pretty incredible, especially for me as someone who's also starting out. Since I started making these videos, I knew that he was someone that I wanted to feature in a video. But Brandon, being Brandon, before I even had a chance to ask the guy, had already come to me and asked if there was any way that he could help. So that's how this video came about. I know I shouldn't be biased, but this is my favourite video I've made to date. Not only am I personally invested in 13 Knives because Brandon's my friend, but I feel like I've finally made the sort of content that I originally set out to make. A look at the creator behind the business rather than just the business itself. Thanks a lot to Brandon for your time and just generally being a good mate. I'd definitely recommend checking out the 13 Knives website and Instagram page, which I'll link below. The content he's got in there, the knives look way better than they did in the video, so I would definitely recommend checking that out. Gonna take some time off now over Christmas just to recharge, recalibrate, and just plan some things for the new year. I hope you have a good one. Stay safe, look after each other, and I will see you soon. All right, bye-bye.